Oh, what's up, everybody? Welcome back. Today we're working on our code visualizer, and today's task is trying to get dynamic updating and integration with our with a text editor. So this is our code visualizer. What you're looking at is a visual representation of our image editor project. Each point in this graph is a file, a folder, a function, a type, like some point of interest in our code base. And right now, what we can do is we can like type into our little GUI on the left. We can say like, hey, let's pretend we're looking at the text renderer. And if we were looking at the text renderer, say we're spending a lot of time there, we could maybe see like, okay, here is the text renderer in this map. He relates to some other parts of the code base. If we had like a legend that was kind of providing some sort of high level info, we could probably gather that, oh, because he's touching some orange parts here, he's talking to the OpenGL abstraction. And he's touching some purple parts over here, and so we know that he's talking to the like main image editor app. He's touching some bluish green parts, which are related to GUI framework, and he's touching some yellow parts that are related to like text file parsing and stuff, right? All very reasonable for a text renderer in this world. And so what we're hoping to provide is at a glance info that kind of helps people gather context, I guess. So you hop into the stream, you don't know what's going on today, you haven't really been following the image editor project. This is supposed to give you like a sense of bearing. Where are we? What's going on today? And how does it relate to everything else? Ideally, as we like jump around the code base in our text editor, we see like which node is being highlighted, probably should get updated, and maybe we even have like, oh, over time we'll kind of focus the graph on like the 5 most recent things. Maybe we kind of like zoom in. I don't know. We'll see. We have to figure out how we want to visually represent this stuff. But in order to visually represent where we are in the code base, we have to know where we are in the code base, and so that's what we were working on right now. Yesterday, we got to the point where our text editor can keep track of what changes are being made. So we have this like Lua plugin, and what we did is we added this like pending change buffer, and this pending change kind of holds something that looks like this. He says, hey, since the last time you, the code visualizer, looked, we've kind of changed lines 5 to 10, and those lines are now 3 lines with this content in them. We have not actually done any communication with the server, but we at least have like the infrastructure to send this now. We just kind of like say, hey, Vim, could you let us know when like stuff changes? And then when stuff changes, he goes like, hey, call this function. And our function goes, is there any, are we like currently, do we have any like buffered changes right now? If so, let's try to adjust them. If we're working on like a new buffered section, we should send those to the server, reset, whatever. So today's task is going to be actually sending that information to the server and using that to update our database so that we have an accurate view of where in the code base we are, right? Because what we're supposed to do is we're supposed to say, Vim goes, yo, server, I'm at line 10 in file, right? And we're supposed to go, oh, okay, well, line 10 is in the class X and the function Y. But for us to be able to make that resolution, we need to know where everything is. So plan of action today is to try to send updates as Vim is editing stuff. He's creating a new class. He's saying like, he goes const x is a struct, right? And then he goes like function f void. And before he hits save, he's like spending some time in here. We basically need to make sure that the server knows about this thing. That's kind of the extent of what we're doing. So plan of action is when we like, I guess we probably have to figure out how to attach to any buffer, right? So every time we open a new file in Vim, every time we switch windows, we probably have to make sure that this action is running there. I don't think it is. We probably want to send state to the server. We like the initial state. So I open this file. Here's what we see in it right now. But it might change in the future. Here's the kind of like the base of where you're applying changes from. Then actually apply the changes, reparse the file, and update the DB as necessary. That's the plan. We will see how far we get, though. We will see, because I can't read the future. I don't know. Okay, so yeah, I guess the first thing we have to do is make sure that this like buff attach call, which says like, hey Vim, I'm looking at some buffer. Where am I? We just have to like figure out how to follow this between files. So there's probably some like Vim event that we can hook up to do this. We discovered this command by looking at the NeoVim source code for language server stuff. So maybe that's like a good place to look again. So we could look for like, where was this? It was in like LSP change tracker or something. Maybe we'll recognize if we like go to where that was. So LSP like Vim LSP LSP Lua. I guess how did we find this? We found it because we knew that the language server sends a text document did change event when the files change. And so we found that here. We found that text document did change was used in change tracking. Here we go. And then change tracking was the guy. He was the guy. So he has send changes related to some buff number. So send changes. What do they do? We found, I think, probably here. This is what we found. We found API, Vim buff attach. And so they're attaching to some buffer number. Where does this happen? Buff attach. Okay. So this is through LSP buff attach client. And who calls this? LSP start. Does somebody like say every time we open a new buffer, like surely we need to attach to that buffer as well? Surely. Or maybe this is called from multiple places, buff attach? No. This is a local function, so it's not like exported anywhere. So how do they... So I'm a little confused. Someone has to know. Like attached buffers. Okay. So there was like, yeah, we only saw this on... Oh, I guess on reload or on detach could be interesting. So on detach, they detach the thing. That makes sense. On write, they do saves. But how do they like say like on open? You know? Because they call this buff attach thing when the language server client starts, I think. Unless this is called from somewhere externally. Buff attach client. What is like LSP here? Is this thing like returned as a module? Yeah, it is. Ah, I see. So buff attach client could be called from anywhere in the code base. Where it was, what was called? It was a... Fuck, I lost it. Buff attach client. Yeah, so we can look for buff attach client in here, and maybe that will give us some clues. So this is all on LSP, but someone surely calls that from somewhere. This is all LSP spec, so not really semantic tokens. Nah. Without calling this, so maybe this is kind of, maybe it's kind of put somewhere else, or maybe, yeah, I'm not sure. Not sure. Buff request. All active clients to be attached to the buffer. Does he call buff attach in here? I mean, we could probably take a guess, right? We could probably take a guess that there's some notification you can hook up to every time a buffer is opened. We could probably make that assumption. I know that there's like buff write free was something that we saw, right? We saw there's like auto commands where you can say, here's a bunch of stuff that like we might want to do things when they happen. Maybe we just look at these events after entering or switching to a new or existing buffer. Okay. So maybe that one. That seems extremely likely to be what we want. Buff when enter. After a buffer is displayed in window, this may be when the buffer is loaded or when a hidden buffer is displayed and is no longer hidden. Fuck it. Let's just try to use buff enter. Maybe. That seems kind of reasonable. Compare buff new, which does not trigger for existing buffers, after buff add, after buff read post. What is buff read? When starting to edit a new buffer, after adding the file into the buffer, before processing mode lines, see buff when enter. Yeah, I feel like buff enter makes sense. So probably we can have like one in-flight edit, and as we jump between buffers, we like send that edit to the server. That seems kind of reasonable. And then how do you attach these things from Lua? I know that it's possible, but I can't remember the way. So we can look up like nvim Lua auto command. I know that there's like, here we go. Nvim create auto command. Yeah. Yeah. This looks like what we want. Okay, let's try this. You can have several buffers open, right? Yeah, but only one that's currently being edited, I think, is reasonable. Like we can just we don't need to cache all edits. The point of the caching is more for like debouncing, so that we're not just like hella spamming the server with updates. If we spam this, send the server an update every time we switch buffers, that's not the end of the world. I can live with that. Okay. So, what's the difference between buff enter and buff win enter? After a buffer is displayed in a window, this may be when the buffer is loaded, or when a hidden buffer is displayed, not triggered for split without arguments since the buffer does not change, or split with a file already open in a window. After entering or switching to a newer existing buffer. Okay, I mean that's fine. I feel like we can just try buff enter for now, and kind of live with our shit. Then, I guess we want to. I kind of want like. How do I say this? It would be nice to only be attached to one buffer. Or we could kind of wait, we could attach to all active buffers. That's not crazy. So we could actually say, literally just on buff add, we could just attach to every single buffer. Yeah, that's not crazy. We could try that. So buff add, every time we add a new buffer, we attach to ourselves. We attach this callback that says on edit do a thing. That seems reasonable. And then probably we just have to make sure that we track which buffer we're editing. So probably this guy, when we have our on lines, Bentype, thank you for the prime, much appreciated. Much appreciated. Buffer what? It's so stupid. So we have a buffer handle that comes in here. So our push change literally just has to keep track of the handle as well. And if the handle is different, we have to flag that as if handle is not equal to pending change handle, then we say this is unrelated. Okay, I think that kind of covers everything. So now all I have to do is kind of put this in here, I think. Okay. Oops. That auto format did not do the right thing, but we can do it here, maybe. There we go. Why is everything going one level deeper than I want it to? Is there mismatched brackets here or something? Callback. Function and. Yeah, something there feels wrong, but I guess we'll see what happens if I source this. line 60. Oh. How do you do this? How do you do not equals in this language? Maybe have a blacklist discarding help buffers, etc. Yeah, that's not an awful idea, but also maybe it's fine. Yeah, it does seem like this way, like you said. All right. Source. Okay, and then messages, I think is the current state thing. Messages clear, and we can see like, okay, I'm in here. There's nothing. So, but if I then edit a new buffer, we get event fired. Okay, and strangely, it doesn't really feel like this is working. Doesn't really feel like it, huh? We probably, maybe with the using of handle 0 here is wrong. Maybe this is supposed to use event buff, probably. Okay. So we go plugin Lua, we source this thing, we make some changes, we get nothing, we go enue, messages, still nothing, kind of interestingly. So why is that? Why is that? Can we vim print hi? Let's just see if anything is happening there. And then it's kind of getting annoying testing in the same environment over and over again. So can we do a second vim instance here? Okay, plugin Lua. Okay, source vim plugin Lua. Okay, and then enue. Okay. Yeah, I don't know why this isn't doing what I want. I don't understand. Okay, thinking. This callback is clearly happening because we're getting the message of event fired, right? But what we are not getting is online's changes, which makes me think maybe event buffer is wrong. Could be, right? If we go back to pulling this out like this and say use the current buffer, oops, he's mad about something actually. Okay. Now we go in here. We're definitely seeing some stuff happen, which is great. Yeah, and then we're not seeing it here. So buff 18. Very strange. Very strange. I wonder why. It feels like I'm doing everything right. Unless EV buff is wrong. Can we... Or maybe it's invalid to call nvim buff attach until the buffer is in like some more fully initialized state? Maybe. Um So what are options? Buff add, buff enter. So after buff add, after buff read post. So buff enter could be, although we kind of want it to go all the time. So buff new. What's buff new? After creating a new buffer, except during startup, or renaming an existing buffer, unlike buff enter, visiting an existing buffer will not trigger this again. Then there's buff read and buff read post. When starting to edit a new buffer, after reading the file into the buffer before processing mode lines, see buff when enter do something similar after processing mode lines. Okay. After a buffer is displayed in a window, this may be when the buffer is loaded after processing mode lines, or when a hidden buffer is displayed and is no longer hidden. I mean, we could just try changing the event to see what happens. It's not crazy. So can we get out of this shit? Source vim plugin. E new. We get buff when enter fired on buffer number 1. Okay. So that's working now, I guess. Who knows why? But it is. All right. Who knows? Who knows? But I guess we'll do this for now. That's good enough. Good enough. I guess we probably want to make sure that things aren't getting like double called for the same buffer, which is a little bit concerning, right? If I go like enu again, and then back to this buffer, we're getting buff when enter again, which means that this is attaching again, which seems kind of wrong. I also don't know if these buffers have like stable IDs for all time, but I think for now, maybe we can do... If you return true from these things, if I call like return true here, it unregisters the event. I remember that from yesterday. We could maybe try to get that to trigger if we've left this current buffer. But like if we split here, yeah, that doesn't trigger a new thing. And going back and forth does not. It's just ennew does. Okay. So we could make it so that we... it's kind of, I don't know, it's hard to unregister these, right? Like if we look at, there's nvim buff detach, but I don't understand how you're supposed to say like detach my thing, you know? I think we were looking at this yesterday. We were saying like, see this for detaching Lua callbacks, and they can be done by returning true. This will attach all callbacks attached with the same nvim buff attach call. But then does that mean like nvim buff detach? Like, you know, attributes RPC only. Maybe that's kind of what I'm missing here. Maybe we're not going through RPC. Buff new was only called once. I think as far as... But my problem with buff new was that it wasn't sent, like this didn't seem to work on buff new. That was kind of my problem, but we could try it again, just double check. Was it buff add or buff new or something? I don't know, maybe we haven't tried buff new. Okay, source. Vim plugin, okay. Make a new buffer, okay, he says buff new. Write some stuff in it, check the messages. We don't get any messages indicating that anything happened, right? So that's kind of why I'm annoyed by this, is it feels like there's some sort of like ordering of stuff. Maybe I thought you had buff add, maybe I did. But like it seems like when I use buff when enter, it works. When I use something earlier, it doesn't, you know? Right, because now I do enu, write some stuff, messages. Now we're getting like updates. Okay, so we want to make sure that like events aren't double firing. So maybe what we do for now is we say registered buffers is a table. And I guess this will just grow forever and ever because I don't really know how to deal with it. But that'll be good enough for now. So say if registered buffers ev buff is not equal to nil, can we just return? And then I guess here we have to then do something. Registered buffers ev buff equals true or something, just to like get a thing in there. Maybe. And then here can we say like print registering buffer. And then maybe even with his ID. Maybe. Maybe. Okay. So Vim plugin. Okay. Then we enum. We say we registered that buffer. Hell yeah. And then we write some stuff in it. Messages. We see that we got some writes. Hell yeah. We switch buffers now. Enum again. Registering buffer 4. Okay. Now we go back here. We actually aren't getting... I'm kind of surprised. We're actually not getting the event fired. So I guess buff when enter is only fired once because I can't get it to trigger again by switching buffers around. So maybe I was just confused, in which case this registering buffer thing doesn't need to happen. Okay, chill. Chill. Now, arguably... Oh, fuck. Wait. Oh, I think it's fine. Arguably, we should attach two buffers that are already open, but I think this will be fine for now. We can just, we'll work with this. We'll just say like, fix me, work with already open buffers. Okay, but this is probably fine for now. Let's just like 100% triple check that this works. So what is it? We say source vim plugin, edit a new buffer, write some stuff down, check our messages. And we're chilling. Okay. Now, let's, I guess, send initial vim state to server. So when we open a new file, we need to say, yo, server, this is the content of that shit. Right? So I guess that's an example of going like edit, like main zig. Right? That's got to do something. So can we, I guess, just get the content of the file at that point? Okay, so let's think about this. Server may or may not be running, right? There is a real chance that the server is not up when we start Vim. We can just ignore that case for now, right? Vim, we close and open Vim all the time. We don't really care about that right now. So let's just not overcomplicate things. Let's just start by making it so that we assume the server's open when we open a file, and we'll just grab the content of the file and huck it over the wire. Okay, cool. How do we want to send that content? Right now, our server is expecting a null terminated JSON blob. So he just kind of scans forward until he sees a 0, and then is like, okay. But I guess like theoretically, a file that we send over could have a null just kind of kicking around in there, right? It's possible. And so I guess what we really want is we probably want like a message header, right? We probably want to send a like, hey, here is the length of the thing we are about to send you. Sure. And I think we don't have to worry about like corruption or anything. So maybe the message, like the message format in general here could just be instead of null terminated, he could just be like, here's a length, and then we read the length, and then he's like, okay, here's the next thing. Read that many bytes. In which case, we would be like, we got some connection. While the connection is open, which is maybe fucking stupid, like this will eventually have to be like event loop, support multiple clients, yada yada, right? But for now, we take shortcuts. So he goes, reader, read int, and I guess we will read a U32 little Indian? Maybe? Message len is this, okay. And then maybe we then also send a message type. That seems reasonable. Maybe message type is one of what is this? 2 to the power of 32 possible message types? Surely that's a little bit much. U16, probably fine. Now, I guess theoretically, a file might be bigger than however many bytes can fit in one of these. So maybe we have message type is one of, I don't know. This is a enum backed by U32, U16, U16. U8 seems maybe arguably too small. U16 seems safer. Not that it really fucking matters, but we'll do this for now. So we get a message type like this, and we have like file start, file continue, file maybe like this. And then on file start, on both of these, the next 32 bits will be the message length. So yeah, let's do that. And then the other one was whatever we had before in here, which was a cursor update. Yeah, okay. And maybe we just don't do JSON in here at all. If it's easy to just like write raw bytes into the fucking socket, we can kind of define whatever wire format we want here. Wire format. And like, who gives a fuck? Who gives a fuck? Sure. Seems reasonable. Seems reasonable to me. So let's kind of start looking at things this way. So we read the message type and we say what stood meta nope stood yeah maybe enum string to enum is meta, but what about if we want like, I know there's like enum from int, but what if there's one, I want one that will like bounds check us as well. Stood math enum. There's got to be something. There's got to be something. Zig standard lib enum from to enum. Here we go. Int to enum. Stood meta. Oh, I'm just a dumbass. Stood meta int to enum. Okay, it was there. This is what I thought. Okay, and we're going to a message type from message type. And this thing will just check like, we don't directly iterate over the fields of an enum tag. Instead, we create an array of values that is comp time known that can be iterated at runtime without creating an inline loop. Okay, so he looks over each of these things. Got it. That's kind of interesting. So I guess catch. Now, if this like fails to parse, we're like we're in like a bit of a pickle, because we need to know like how much of the stream to consume. We could just like hard kill the connection, I guess, if we fail. If somebody sent us something we don't understand, then we can kind of say like the whole stream's dead. Fuck this shit. Or we could like take message length as the first parameter. But I think I like the idea of just being like fuck off a little better. So I think we can just kind of go like this. Get the fuck out of here. And we can even log an error. Invalid message type. Like this. Sure. And then we say, okay. We go file start, we do something. File continue, we do something. And cursor update, we do something. So cursor update was like, I guess we could keep the null terminated JSON message thing in there, or we just, no matter what, parse a message length. I feel like we might as well take a message length every time, blaze it. We might as well. And then I guess we just kind of hop skip over it. So I guess it's kind of nicer, actually, strangely, if the message length comes after the type. I guess because it would be nice if the length does not contain the type. You know what I mean? And so there's like zero ambiguity if it comes after about whether or not it should include it or not. So we'll do that. Fuck it. And I guess we say we take our buffer here and we read into them. I guess we kind of know how long the thing should be, so we can just kind of say, yo, let's alloc this shit. And we can do reader read all into message. Okay, that seems reasonable. Okay. Then what? Then we do some stuff with it. Okay. So I guess file start, we're going to have some in progress file that we're pushing into, which kind of is starting to make me feel like it makes sense for this thing to live as a thing, like a real thing with state. Right? So maybe we do server here. And in the server, we have our location history, I guess, because that was done here. And we have our, socket, I guess, which is stood net server, probably, or maybe stream. It depends on what this thing returns. He returns a server, okay. Then what? We're gonna have run server, and he's gonna be do this stuff. While true, we try to get a connection from this guy. Yup. And then I guess we have self dot service connection. Okay. Or run connection, I guess. Why is this all grayed out? That's a little strange. I mean, this seems fine to me. And then here we take in self. And I see. That's why this thing needed to know that the function existed. I see. I see. This is whatever this returns. So this is a studnet connection, studnet server connection. There we go. And then we do whatever we're doing here. So I guess this guy wants the temporary allocator like this, which means that this guy probably wants the arena to be here. Or maybe he takes in a temporary allocator too. Fuck it. Nah, it feels like it should live here. Feels like it should live here. Okay. Boom, boom. So he services the connection with the arena allocator. And the connection. Okay. Then we do all of this shit that we were just talking about. And now it's easier for each of these guys to, like, you know, dispatch into somewhere else. Here we need to arena reset. Retain capacity, fuck it. And then this guy can now go, like, you know, like, push, you know, he could be like init file or something, right? You know, something like that. We'll figure it out. Okay. So I guess this has to be done in a loop as well. And I guess now we can say like const var server is a server with like history. I guess he should fucking have an init method, huh? I guess. So does he take an allocator? Yep. And he denits himself as well. Probably with the same allocator. And he goes, you know, self history dnit here and self server dnit. Boom. Simple. I guess this guy doesn't need an allocator. Cool. Then this history stuff lives in here like this, and we return history, look at history, and where's the socket server come from? Where does that thing come from? I guess here. All right. There we go. Things are starting to move. Things are starting to move around. Okay. This goes here, and this goes here. All right. So now we should be able to go like server init, or allocator, and defer server dnit, and then just server run, and with the allocator. And we have some stuff in here that we don't want to lose, so I guess we kind of copy this stuff into like something that's like parse message, handle cursor update or something is gonna go in here. And we'll figure this shit out later. Now this can be like self handle cursor update, bang, bang, boom, hell yes. Certainly this needs to take in the message. Right, but you know, we'll figure it out. Cool. This is the wrong casing. Run connection should be run connection like this. Hell yeah. And now this loop can go away, and we'll see if this shit still works. Error union is ignored, so we break to try here. Bing, bang, boom. Message len is pissed at 217 because this needs probably try here. Message len reader read int expected type blah blah blah. Oh, I see. This thing needs to be failable for that to work. Sure. And somewhere we do and message. This needs to be messaged as he is. Operator not equal not allowed on that thing. Format error without a union. Cannot format error union without a specifier. The fuck? What is he yelling about? 211. Hello? He must just give me this. This is just confused. So this is what we want. Operator equals not allowed for this type. Bang U16, which means that this guy had to be tried probably. Okay, cool. Cool. So we're up and running, and now let's do handle file start and handle file continue. And we're gonna have to figure out what to do with these things, but for now, we just do this and we just see what happens. Okay. So surely here we have like in-flight file. Right, that was kind of what I was initially thinking. That's why I split this whole thing out. But now I'm kind of changing my mind. So all of this was kind of maybe useless. Because everything about the connection kind of lives here forever. You know, we could just kind of keep the message info on the stack. So we could do like in-flight file here. Which would be a little bit fine, I guess. Because now we can use like the temporary allocator here, which is kind of nice. I guess. And then here we have in flight file gets passed to these guys. I guess we can call this like file even. It doesn't have to be like, you know, incoming file or something, I guess is a better name for this. Okay. So now these guys can be like, okay, file content is a std array list of U8 pointer, and all we have to do here is like if we get the file start, we say file content. I guess we don't even need a function for this, really. This feels a lot like just going like incoming file append slice of message. Yep, that seems totally good enough. Same with this, actually. These are kind of like the same. So like so I guess we actually kind of want like not file start and file continue. I think we want like file end and file data. Right? So you can prefix your thing with several file datas, but when you do a file end, that's when the interesting stuff happens. So on file end, we have to do some sort of like interesting thing, but for now we'll just print it. Got file of this thing, right? Yes. What is this thing pissed about? Oh, I forgot a dot here probably. Go. And then we probably do like incoming file clear. Boom. Okay, sure. Sure. So now all we have to do is actually send that file data. How's the data visualized? We can give you a quick little here we go. Give you a quick little look-skis. This bad boy. So backgrounds are kind of related to like folder slash file slash class hierarchy, and then the points in here are like each of the individual things. And if we highlight something, you know, he's got some sort of connections to other stuff in the code base. Looking pretty good, I feel like. But that is, we can't focus too much on that because we have work to do. We have stuff we got to get done. Okay. So plug in now. We need to make sure that when he first enters this buffer, there must be some sort of like nvim buff get text, right? We used nvim buff get lines, but nvim buff get text should probably give us a text range. Can we get like just like the whole fucking... Oh, he says prefer get lines. Can I just like fucking get the whole content? You know? Get var. Yeah, maybe not. I guess we could look at, again, we could use the language server stuff for inspiration. So we could see, I think on open, we send the entire file. And so surely Vim must do that as well, or NeoVim, I should say, and we should be able to compare. So he says the content of the thing. Yeah, so this just comes in as like one big string. So surely NeoVim must do that. So we can look for a text document did open, and that's gonna give us this. We can look for this in text document did open. Did you know that 1,000 microservices is a milliservice? It's so fucking stupid. It's so stupid. Okay, params here. He gets the text LSP get buff get full text. And the fact that this is an LSP method is making me think that it's not just built in. Yeah, they're just literally doing get lines for everything, and then this is probably good enough for us. We can just literally copy paste that shit. Sure. Set shift width equals 4, tab stop equals 4, expand tab. Okay, there we go. I bet you all of these have like bad line, like they're all using tabs or something instead of spaces, but what you gonna do? What you gonna do? Okay, so we get some text, and we get them from the event buffer, and these probably tell us what we want to know. Probably, I see. So the concat here is telling us what the line ending is. So, ew. So that's what this was for. Let's just do this. And we'll say, our end users are unhappy, smile. But we will live. So we need to send this as a message. So I guess here on our end, we need like message types. right? And I guess this is going to be some sort of mapping of like name to ID, probably. So we have like message types, uh, file data is equal to 1, equals 0. We should be explicit about this, probably. Okay. File end and cursor update. Okay. So now what? Oops, cursor update should be 2. Like this. I guess we're gonna have some sort of function to be like local function send file data. And he's going to, I guess, take the buffer handle. And do I just write end here? Is that how this works? Okay. So, what the fuck do we do here? I guess we need to chunk the text, right? We need to say, hey, there's some sort of like maximum amount that can fit in one packet. Let's chunk this shit into those segments. So I wonder, like, this might be kind of crazy. I'm like a big fan of like iterators for this type of thing in Zig. I wonder if you can do the same thing in Lua. Surely, right? You could go like a file chunker is one of these, and we could use that like crazy class shit that they did before. So you have like local function file chunker new init. And how does this fucking work? You set you like we did this the other day. We did this the other day. Learn X and Y. Okay, let's see. You here. So you create an object that has some like table. So you say like return obj or file chunker. File chunker is a file is just like a table. And the table will have like index. Uh-huh. Yeah. Okay, I see. Index equals 0. And then we will also have content. Okay, that seems reasonable. Then we say the thing that we're returning, we set the meta table of the thing we're returning to be us. Yep. Okay, seems reasonable. So we say like, okay, the us self here is the type, which is weird. And then the type here, we actually need this to be, oh yeah, I think that's fine. I think it's fine. We don't have to do that index shit. I think this will work. And now there's like an init function on the meta table of this guy, but we also need like a next function, I guess. So here we get a self parameter that is this thing passed in. And so we should be able to be like content. Is there like string slicing Lua? Like, returns another string, which is a substring of s starting at I, running until j. If j is absent, it is assumed to be equal to the length of s. Particularly, the call this returns a prefix. Whoa. A prefix of s with length j. Well, the call stir sub si returns a suffix of s starting at I. Okay. And is like, do I need to call string dot stir sub here? Or is it just stir sub? So we should be able to go like this. Okay, and then do self index equals self index plus max chunk len. Okay. I wonder if you can do this. This is kind of interesting. So this is saying, hey, on the type itself. That's kind of fun. Do I not have to set the index somewhere? I feel like I was supposed to use the word index somewhere. I'm not 100% sure about this. But now we can call this with like file chunker, like this, which is kind of interesting. Yeah, that seems kind of reasonable. And then I guess we can use this as an excuse to play with Lua modules as well, because moving this into a separate file will let us test it easier. So file chunker Lua. I wonder if we could do like the same we could maybe get away with doing like the same Zig style shit where like the thing that we return out of here is like the struct itself. So we can go like here, put this in here, and then just return file chunker like this. I think is how these like Lua modules work. And so like I think then in Lua you have like require here, require function. Yeah, so we should be able to just be able to be like in test Lua, we should be able to be like require file chunker like this. And then we should be able to be like file chunker init like this. But we need to initialize with this like, you know, some content. Hello, or the quick brown fox jumped over the lazy dog. And then we should be able to go like file chunker next. I guess probably Lua doesn't have like nice syntax to extract the nil value out of this thing from a while loop argument. So maybe it would make sense. I wonder if you can do like pointer arguments in this language, right? Like what I would do in C is I would be like while file chunker next out, then use out in here. That probably doesn't work here. Hum. Hum hum. Let's see if this guy has anything about while loops. Okay, nothing too crazy. So what's like, I guess you could say while file chunker next do end, file chunker data like this, right? Instead of returning it from, instead of returning this, we could say like last content is nil. Then you say last content here, right? This needs to have like this. And then here we need to, here we will just return true unless we have already finished. So we have to like calculate like the remaining length as well. So you have to say like remaining is equal to, is there like a max function in this language? Math max. I mean, we'll see. And I guess it's actually the minimum of self index plus this or content len, right? Oopsies. End, I guess. Like content end, I guess we'll call this. Not content end, that's a bad length. Chunk end, I guess we'll call it. Yeah, so we do something like this. Chunk end is the minimum of this plus the max chunk length, or the length of the content. Then we stash this shit in here, increment this thing, and we say like if self index is greater than or equal to content length, then return false. Okay, that seems kind of reasonable. That seems like kind of reasonable. So now if we take, we need our data function. And we just say like this. That's like a maybe. So can we like run this shit? nvm-l Tesla. So he's mad because file chunker not found. So that's not good. Can I do like this? Lua require adjacent file. Like, is that? Dot dot dot. What the fuck? Jesus Christ, dude. Package dot path this my well, okay, or what's this thing doing? Local require mylib dot. I mean, none of that's simple. There's no way, right? I mean, I guess setting the path makes sense. So I guess this kind of like doing this kind of makes sense. So we just say, yo, take literally anything, take the old path, but also use the current working directory. That seems kind of reasonable if it works. Yeah, okay, that looks like it works. Okay, so now he's pissed because like error while calling Lua chunk, error loading module file chunker from file chunker Lua, line 5. He doesn't like this. He has to get this. So like what the fuck? Okay, so let's start here. Let's comment out everything. And he's like, yo, init doesn't work, which is fine. Can we at the very least call like file chunker max chunk len here just to see if like anything's working at all? So that's working. We have 10 here, which means that like this is loaded correctly now. And now this idea of defining a function this way is not not happy. So why? Because I'm pretty sure that's what they did in here. They said function dog colon new. Oh, I guess maybe not local function. Maybe that's it. But I thought that you could do, oopsies. I thought you could do things that way, but I guess not. Maybe local function here is a no-go. Okay, attempt to call method next on, so here, if he doesn't like that, it could be because, like, do we need, like, self index equals self or something? Is that what they did in the other example? Attempt to get a length of global content, a nil value. Okay, because this needs to be self dot content here and here. Attempt to call stir sub a nil value. Okay, so that's not good. So is this coming from some, like, string library that we have to do? String dot sub is what they're saying now. Maybe that was an old manual. We could try that. Okay, so that's doing something. And can we do, like, vim print here? The quick brown fox jumped over the lazy dog. I think that there's some duplication here. We're getting y's twice here, but we're definitely getting closer. Set metatable object self dot index equals self. So I feel like I'm missing. I don't understand something here. Why do I have to do this? Like, oh, because on the metadata, the metatable of file chunker, he needs to, the index field is where we look when this object, we try to look for the field next, right? We go next isn't one of these three things. Then we look at his index field, but or the metatable's index field. So if I did this, this feels more reasonable to me, and I bet you that would work, because now he's going to look at the fields of file chunker, e.g. init, next, and max chunk length, to try to resolve. And yeah, that still works. Okay. That makes sense. I don't know why you would want to apply self, like file chunker index equals file chunker. That doesn't really make too much sense to me. I mean, this says because of inheritance somewhere. Number 4, he says the class being instantiated often self equals dog, but inheritance can change it. But also, fuck off. I'm never going to use inheritance, so, I don't have to do what you say. You're not the boss of me. Okay, so now I want to put this stuff in quotes so that I can see precisely where this stuff ends to make sure, like, if the end is lining up correctly. Okay, so dog is the very end. Perfect. And so that looks like this is working fine, other than the fact that index here is maybe a problem. Maybe index has to start at 1. The quick 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay. The quick brown fox jumped over. Okay, so it's this max chunk length. I guess -1 because it's inclusive. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay. So I think that looks pretty good. Everything's kind of lining up. We're seeing 10 characters long each time. Looks pretty good. Looks pretty good. And so arguably, I guess the max chunk length should be a parameter of this guy, not a global, because I think that, like, if we're chunking, it just kind of feels more like a parameter of who instantiated us. And now I'm also kind of, I don't really like the idea of file chunker here. Can we call this string chunker? Okay, and then can we rename this to string chunker? Okay, there we go. Sure. That's not bad at all. Okay, so now I guess we go back to test Lua here and just double check here that we can do like a string chunker everywhere. Just make sure we didn't break anything. Yeah, I guess I fucked something up. I don't know how, but I manage it. I just didn't finish. So it's a good thing I checked. Max chunk length here is also a self parameter now. I forgot. Uh-huh. And am I fucking stupid? Oh, because we didn't call it with the max chunk length. So here we need to call this with 10. Unable to perform arithmetic on max chunk length, a new nil value? Am I fucking stupid? Self max chunk length, which is right here, which comes from here, which comes from here. Oh, I'm a dumbass, actually. Just the wrong fucking spot. Okay. And then if I like change this to 5 now, hell yeah. Okay, cool. Things are working as expected. As expected. So now we can go back to our plugin. And we can stick this shit at the top. And now we can go back to whatever the fuck we were trying to do here. And we were trying to chunk the string into max bytes chunks. So max file content len is going to be, can you do like left shift in Lua? Can I go like 1 shift left by 32 minus 1? Is this like a thing we can do? Oops. Nope. What about Lua left shift? You could add a default value by saying this or 10. Yeah, that makes sense. Oh, sure. So they have power. So I can go like 2 to the power of 32 in here. Ah, okay. Cool. So here we want to go like a const. I guess it's literally 2 to the power of 32. Minus 1? Yeah. Okay, so now we go back here and we're like, local chunker, it's a string chunker, initialized with the text and the max file content len, right? It would be nice to know if it's the last chunk. So we could actually take this out. We could say like is last. And we literally just return this. Because index gets applied here. And then here we can go like while, what is it? Chunker next, do done, end. If set shift width equals 4, tabs equals 4, expand tab. I don't know why it's not auto detecting, but whatever. Okay. What are we doing? We're like, if chunker is last. We say like file type or message type is, we're like file data by default, but if it's the last chunk, then we say that we're file end. Okay, we have the content is the chunker content. What was it? What do we call it? Data content? We called it data. Okay, so we have the content, we have the type. So I guess we say we have to like pack this shit somehow. So we need to bring back our UV event loop shit. So we connect to this pipe, which means that we should be able to, we need to look up the documentation for how to send stuff into these UV streams. So there's this like UV stream T thing that we have. And can we just like fucking slam some data in here? Data can be either a Lua string or a table of strings. If a table is passed in the C backend, we'll use write v to send all the strings. What if it's not a string though? Can I pass it, push like arbitrary data here? Buffer. Maybe not. Velago, thanks for the raid. Or Veligo, sorry, backwards. What's up, everybody? I guess we'll give you the little rundown. We're working on this guy. Hope you got a good stream over there. Hope you guys enjoyed yourselves. We are working on this though. This is our code visualizer. What you are seeing here is every point on this guy is a file, a type, a function, something of interest, right? The backgrounds are kind of showing folder hierarchy. So I'm like in our code base. You're looking at like our image editor that we're working on, right? And everything in purple is related to the image editor. Everything in green here is related to like image editor UI. Everything in bluey green is related to like our GUI framework. Yellow is like text editing, right? What you're seeing here is these guys are kind of like moving around because we take all of the points, we slap them into the window, and we say, please try to navigate towards things that are similar to you, whether that's by we're in the same folder or we're calling each other, right? So like if function A calls function B, those things are like live close. We want to use this to kind of show at a glance context, right? So we're working on our text renderer. Who does he talk to? Hand wavy, right? We're trying to provide like at a glance info so that when people come to the stream, they're like, what is going on? This is a big project. How does what is being on the screen right now, how does that affect everything else? That's what we're trying to like show with this project. So what we're working on today is we are trying to hook up Vim to this guy, right? So we are basically trying to send file content as we edit it in Vim over to our server so that he can update this graph to say, oh, he just added a new type. I need to put that type in here somewhere and give it like a dot and put it on the screen in the right spot. Yeah, so that's what we're working on. I hope that is interesting to you. I guess I don't really care actually if it's interesting to you, but if it is interesting to you, then you should stay and watch. Well, I guess I shouldn't say what you should do. You could stay and watch, and that'd be cool. Yeah, we ported some XCB and EGLC code to Jai, generated a bunch of bindings for EGL stuff, took a massive W on that. Hope your stream is going well so far. Following your code visualizer stuff pretty dank. Hell yeah, dude. Hell yeah. Okay. So we were just trying to find out. We're learning Lua as we go, right? So we just found out that we can write a iterator type class. We say, hey, let's try to get some content out of this thing to make sure we can send a message that fits in one buffer. And then we were just about to figure out, can we, if our server expects things like uint16 type, uint16 size, and then, or uint32 size, and then data, how do we serialize this stuff in Lua land? Is that possible? I don't really know. Can we do like Lua, like big Endian number? Like, is that like a thing that we can do? Dealing with non-ASCII byte streams. Convert character codes to a Lua string format string. Oh, this is coming from struct library. I kind of want to just like run this shit myself. Um. Okay. I mean, we might just have to like bite the bullet here. If we're not like kind of. Oh wait, hold on. That's not crazy. Yeah, I mean that's not crazy. If you can call string.char to basically take anything and stick it in a string. Oh, that seems probably kind of fine then. We can do that. And for 3x, thanks for the fucking tier 1. Much appreciated. Much appreciated. Okay, so I guess here we're gonna be like um LE16. Sure. And I guess we're literally just like I guess we can do like LE encode into some like size here. Right, we can go var ret or local ret is a empty string, and we can concat these strings together. I think lua string lib. I think that there must be some way. Where are like your functions? I want like string concat. Like just like take these two strings and stick them together. Oh, just the dot dot, right, of course. Okay, so we can go like take the character of num and 0xff, and then we have to shift this thing to the right, so num equals num over 255, because we don't have like this, I guess, because last I checked there wasn't shift right. And then we say ret equals ret followed by this. If we want little Indian, it's the smallest number comes first. So it's the other way. For 1 to size, do this. And then we return ret. That seems kind of reasonable. Can we stick this in our test Lua and see if it fucking works? LE encode. First, we'll start with 0x97 in a 1 byte buffer. So this should give us like an A or something. Right? I think. 14. He doesn't like this. Great. Why not? This seemed okay. Expected bracket near this thing. So first of all, if we just do this. Okay, so that like works. Expected bracket expected near and sign. So that's kind of weird. Okay, what if we just do this? Num. Okay. So that does something. So this num is num and 0xff. Oh, is this maybe like this? Yeah, okay, so he still doesn't like that. He still doesn't like that. Lua bitwise and. Is this like a thing that we can do? Jesus Christ. So how come this was okay? I mean, this guy's maybe just a liar. Seems possible. Seems possible. But we can do modulo, which is the same thing. So 256 mod 256 is 0. So I think that's right. Yeah, okay. And then can we start this with like something that should give us like something in ASCII? So like hex 41 should give us a big A. Okay. Okay, so we get our big A there, so that's good. Now if we do this twice, we should get a null terminator then an A. Good. We do this 4 times, we get several null terminators then an A. Okay. Now if we were to do something like 41, 42, we should see a B followed by an A. I feel like this is backwards because the lowest bytes are supposed to come first, right? We're supposed to see lowest bytes first, so we should actually be seeing BA00. This is backwards. How the fuck is that possible? How is that possible? I mean, we could just swap the order here, but I really don't understand how that would make sense. Oh, I'm a dumbass because the thing that was already in there should be first. That's what we were just saying. Okay, cool. Cool. So we have a LE in code now. Let's fucking go, baby. Let's go. So fuck this LE in code. Get that shit out of here. Okay. So now we can just say LE in code message type with message the length of content followed by the content. Oh yeah, hell yeah, dude. So can we do something like this? That'd be kind of hype. That'd be kind of hype. And then here, just when we enter a new buffer, we say like send file data. Given EV buff. Dude, that'd be so cool if that worked. That'd be so cool. Okay, so we need our server running, which means that we need to be somewhere where we can compile Zig code. Because it's not actually like an executable on our disk, we just kind of Zig run it over every time. Zig run. Okay, so here, if we open Vim, then source Vim plugin Lua. Fuck! String chunker not found. Why not? Do I have to do it from in this folder, maybe? Okay, that works. We're gonna have to fucking figure that shit out. But for now, can we look at like something in here? While processing buff when enter, error executing Lua callback. Attempt to index global API. A nil value. So this is in send file data. Oops, vim.api here. Okay. So we go again. Okay, so now he says global EV. Right, so this is handle now. I love dynamically typed languages. Svimp, source main. Okay, so now he's like, limit must be a number at line 143. LE encode. That's a really good point. God, these guys are such whiners. God, like he just wants me to fucking call with the right number of arguments. Like, what is who does he think I am? Okay, so that's good. Now I'm a little concerned that we didn't see anything show up in the server. So we could maybe say first let's like to send, let's kind of slap this here and we can print it on our side. Then we could also try to log more on the server side and see if we get anything of interest. But let's start here. So nvim plugin lua source edit // or svimp source main. Okay, so it looks to me like we are sending some shit followed by, some shit. So that's good. Now the question is, why aren't we getting this? In before sending 0 bytes bites you. Sending 0 bytes bites you. Byte, 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 byte. Yeah, it does seem like likely, huh? Okay. So can we just like assume let's just say we got some fucking content. So message type. Message len. Here we need a tag name here. Here we need to say that we want a number. D for number. The classic. The number. We need to show the number. And then here we will say message content here. Content is message. Okay. Let's see if that does anything. Expected something found U16 because this is parse message type. Okay, nvim plugin lua source edit svimp source main. Okay, so it looks kind of like nothing's happening there, which is kind of interesting. Can we okay, are we forgetting to do something? So on start, we start up libuv, we set up a new pipe. Oops. We connect to the test socket. Okay. Can we just like pipe right hi mom? I'm pretty sure we were doing this before, right? That's what we did here. Okay. Oh, we're in the wrong directory. Okay, we're gonna hardcode this for now. Fix me hard-coded ugly path. Okay. Oh, oops. I want here. Callback, I guess, is what I want to log there. Okay, so he did print callback here, and then did it succeed? I forgot work here. Home, streamer work, code map test. Okay, so I just had the wrong path. Source. Okay, here we go. Okay, good. Okay, cool. So now let's try again. I think we might need to restart the server. I don't really trust whatever we've done there because we're in like uber prototype mode. And can we go to svimp source main? Oh, baby! Wait, that's really good. So here, the question is did we got file? Got file. Okay, so that's actually like a fully working thing. Because that means that we got this, got file. Hell yes. Okay. Let's do this now, got file chunk, and we'll just say how long the thing that came in was. And I would be interested to see if this still works if we try to chunk this thing down a lot. So just temporarily, let's just say 50. Okay, you can be 50 bytes long. Now, we go back here. We say npm plugin Lua. This guy starts the server. Millennial, thanks for the prime. Much appreciated. Much appreciated. We source this, and then we edit svimp source main. Okay, so we got a bunch of file data. We got file data, file data, file data, file data. Oh, here, I have to hit play a few times, I guess, to get this unblocked. And then at the very end, after he goes through each of those chunks, that's kind of hype. That's kind of hype. So the last message is 45 bytes long, and we get our full thing. So that's actually super sick. I mean, like, I know that like it's not actually that crazy. All we're doing is like sending small chunks of data, but it's pretty fucking sick that like we can do something like this low level, I guess is the word, in Lua, and we've managed to do it in a way that feels like super comfortable, right? This string check chunker feels like we're just like in Zig, like it just feels like we're at home. This little Indian encoding thing is kind of lame, but like good enough. Yeah, it's pretty fucking sick. Pretty sick. Okay. So I guess we should now maybe we should probably try to actually send the patches to the server. So we'll say this is send patches to server. And I guess I was overly ambitious. I kind of thought we would get farther today, but I think that if we can get the patches sent over on edits, then we should be kind of chillin'. Okay, so let's say we have in server Zig. Can we add some new type that's like file patch? And in reality, these should be switched. So we will put file patch here. Cursor update here. And now this like onlines thing, this guy just has to send the patch. So I think it's literally just like to send is the message type, the content, and the content. Okay, so now all we need to do is like say message type I guess our like it seems like we should have like an actual lower level function here, which is actually like send server message, and he's gonna have message type and content here, right? Just it's silly to do this many times, right? Just like fucking do this. Dude, how many times do I have to fucking fix my my indentation? Okay. Cool. So now this is just like a send server message type and content like this. Even here you can go like chunker data. That's simple. And now here when we send pending change, this is message type of file patch. We do nil out the pending change, reasonable. And here I guess we need to like serialize pending change, right? And what does he do? We have pending change has like this shape, right? So I guess like what is the play here? JSON blob seems reasonable. We could also define like a like on wire format. We could try to like separate lines with some new line or something, but like I don't know, man. I don't really care that much, right? This is like an array of lines. This is a range. Can we just like I feel like it's easier to just spit that shit out on in JSON. Just kind of feels easier. So we can go like I guess eventually we're going to we already did the send server message stuff. So all we have to do is say like uh serialized is an empty string. And all we have to do is go like I don't know. We have like range first followed by what did we do last time? There was like string format or something. It was something like this. I don't know if they had like number formats in here. String format. Ooh, format. It does look like they have numbers. So using numbers here seems reasonable. Then lines is going to be an array. And then I guess we will probably just start like slapping shit into this array. Right? Um Oh, is this not trivial? If the fucking content of the lines does not contain like ASCII data, then we're gonna have a problem. Someone's saying escape symbols. Yeah, I wonder if they have Lua escape string. I guess we go byte by byte. So there's like uh Lua index string. Like, is that like a thing? Can I extract like Lua extract byte value from string or something? String byte. I want to convert characters to numerical codes. Yep. C colon byte. Char byte. Like, can we do like We don't need this anymore. If we have like local test is equal to, or s is equal to ASDF, can we go like, first of all, let's just do the stupid thing. What happens when we do this? Okay, no. What about byte? Oh, okay. Hell yeah. Okay, cool. Let's do that. So we go like serialized. Oh, this also has to be string.format here, right? So this guy needs to look at like pending change range first, pending change range last. Okay, now we go over each character. uh Dude, this sucks. Dude, this blows. This could be really slow, but hopefully like hopefully we're not ever working with anything where this matters, right? The amount of content that we should be spitting out is hopefully pretty small. Uh but we should be careful. Is it pending change lines like this? What's our global? Yeah, it's pending change. Okay, it's gotta be. So here for each line we add a this. Uh we add one of these and then one of these. Okay. And then we put the fucking byte data. You know, I'm starting to think that a JSON blob isn't easier. I'm starting to think that this is harder. So let's go back to like a byte. Let's go back to like a more low level format. So we can prefix each we can do something like prefix each line with its length or something. Uh let's just say, so what do we need to send? We need to send first line, first, last lines. So I guess we will send num lines and then line len line. Right, I think we'll do something like this. So we'll send the first line pending message range first as a 4-byte thing. Okay, then the last. Okay. Then the number of lines. And then we say for I equals 1. For each line, do end, and we kind of go like this. So we first get the line is pending message lines at I. So we look at the length of the line now and the line itself. Sure. Fuck it. Okay. That seems reasonable. That seems reasonable. So now we just have to mirror that format on the other side. We just mirror the format over here. So we need file patch. And here we're just literally trying to like parse this stuff out. So it's reader. So we take this from the message. So can we go like fix buffer stream on message? We get the reader out of this thing. And then we say reader read int. All of these are U32's little Indian encoded. So first is this. Last is this. Num lines is also this. For 0 to num lines. We need to name this to like the message reader. We should be careful here. Okay. For each line, we get the line length. Which is just another one of these. And then we get the line. So here, I guess we say temp alloc line len something like this, and then defer message dinit message dot free message here. Okay. Seems reasonable. Then we can read all into this message. Fuck. Line. Like this. And then we read into the line. And then we stood debug print got line this. Okay, surely that's it. So here we'll say editing range here to here. And let's see. Does Lua have pack unpack? It does. Nice. Then am I doing something fucking stupid? Because I don't know what you're saying, but it sounds nice. Maybe. Hell yeah, dude. Okay, source this guy. Edit, source main. Edit, svimp, source main zig. He gets the thing. Now I go in here and oh, fuck. Okay. I just mentioned offhand because you're talking about binary data and also about Lua. Yeah, we're just kind of using strings, which is maybe stupid. But we'll see. Message types he thinks is not okay. Attempts to index global message types a nil value. Is it because message types wasn't defined before this? Does this have to go all the way up? I don't really know. Get me out. Run the server again. If you want to read write binary struct-like data in just about any language, use pack unpack. But I didn't see anything. I saw like there was a struct library, but not. I didn't really consider that it was like I didn't think it was like built in. You know what I mean? I saw like struct pack in Stack Overflow somewhere. But I didn't see it as like a built-in thing to the language. So I could be wrong though. Okay, so looking here, we have in function serialize pending change. Pending message is wrong. Yeah, I don't know. Pending. What is it then? Pending change. Okay, let's try that. Built in, pretty sure. Oh, there's table pack. Which no, that's not really what I want. That like makes a table out of some numbers. Maybe not. I don't know. I think I'm okay with doing it this way for now, but I will look it up later probably because it would be nice. It would be nice. You can tell we really just don't have any fucking idea what we're doing, which is pretty sick. It's the way we work around here. Okay. So now he's mad because 97 index up value pending change. Oh, so maybe pending change isn't defined yet at the part. What the fuck is going on here? No, this should be defined by the time we get to here. Oh, but pending change could be nil, I guess. Right, it could be. So, if pending change is nil, we don't do anything. That's an intentional thing that could happen. Oh, dude, the fucking server crashing every time is really fucking annoying. Okay. 114. Do these things have to be defined in order? I did not think that was the case. Yeah, that's crazy. I guess maybe because they're local functions. Oh, that's crazy. All right, we'll try it. Okay, then and nvim plugin source edit source svimp source main. I'm gonna lose my fucking mind, man. I guess I just shouldn't use local functions, but I kind of assume that like they'll leak scope if I don't. Dumb thing you can do is make a table and have it act as a namespace and that can be out of order. So you say like local m like this, and then you define these as m dot. Yeah. I see. Okay, but I think that I think we're close to the end of the shit show, so I think I'll just keep going this way for now, but I will look into that probably as well. Main, okay. Edit, fuck, 124. Content is a nil value. Send server message is because serialized pending changed. He does return serialized. Oh, here, if there's nothing to send, then we return nil. Then here we should say content is equal to this. And then if content is nil, we don't send the thing. And here, then we use content like this. All right. Hopefully this is the last one. Source. Okay. And then svimp source main. Edit some stuff. Okay, so now he's mad because LEE in code is again not early enough. I'm gonna lose my fucking shit. I'm gonna lose my fucking mind. But it's okay. This is how it goes. Run the server again because it crashes every time. Source this, edit svimp source main. Make some changes. Let's fucking go, dude. Look at this shit. We got a file patch. He said got line 3 of 3 got line. Let's fucking go. Now I can go, let's make a bunch of lines. 4 of them. Go down here, edit something else. Boom! Let's fucking go, dude! Let's go! That's actually so sick! Hell yeah. Okay, so took longer than I expected, but we now, I think, have actually all of the information that we need now in order to like actually patch our like index or whatever. Um, I'm not going to do that right now because it's already 4:05, which is just past the end of the target time for the stream. But that's actually like super cool. So, Bogan Bits is saying that there is string.pack in Lua that I missed. So if that exists, it's returns a binary string concatenating the values v1, v2. Oh yeah, okay. So it is likely that we might want to take a look at this. I mean, what we did isn't crazy with just like little Indian coding, but this might be a little nicer. So I might take a look at this. But that is for later or off stream or something. But I mean, I think we've managed to make like a lot of good progress with very little knowledge, which is kind of fun. I'm quite happy with being able to do like the iterator pattern here. That's pretty exciting. I'm happy with the fact that we can do this like little Indian encoding in, what was it, plugin Lua. I'm happy with this little guy. Then the ability to kind of just send arbitrary binary data in a way that doesn't suck. This is like totally fine to write, right? This is like readable, and like we've managed to like take a pending change, send it over to the side, plus like the initial file state on buffer open. So we should have all the information we need to be able to patch stuff up and keep track of like the current state, which is pretty exciting. Very, very cool. So I think we call it there. Thanks for watching, guys. If you like what you saw, we stream most days at around 12:30 Pacific time to 4 o'clock Pacific time. It is 4:05 now. So if you're watching live, you should expect to see us online between 3.5 hours ago and now, most days. If you're watching live and you would like to catch up on other projects or keep track of this project, there's a YouTube link in the Twitch description. VODs of the 2 to 4 segment go up every day. The 12:30 to 2 segment is usually a little bit more refactor or like unit test or like, you know, small tweaks, things that don't get a YouTube video but we're still online. So if you want to see those and you don't catch them live, then you can join on YouTube or sub on Patreon or sub on Twitch and the VODs will become available. But you won't miss anything if you don't watch the 12:32 segment. The 2 to 4 segment is kind of the intent there is you get all major new features from that. There's a GitHub link in the Twitch description. Code for this should end up under the code map repo eventually. It's been slow to update. We're trying to fix that, but it's taking a little bit of time. Otherwise, I think that's it. YouTube, peace out. Twitch, let's find someone to raid.